Today, we are very privileged to have with us here in the studio a distinguished person whose lineage goes back right to the formation of the Indian nation as well as its constitution. It is none other than Sri Aflatoon Desai. Now, he himself would like to be known only by his first name, Aflatoon, but that doesn't take away from his very rich nationalistic lineage. He is the grandson on the maternal side of Srimati Malti Chowdhury, one of the founding mothers of the Indian Constitution. And on the paternal side, his grandfather was Sri Mahadev Desai, who was the personal assistant of Mahatma Gandhi. So, coming from such an illustrious background, deeply entrenched in the formation of the Indian nation and all the struggles that came with it, he is the best person for us to ask a few questions. And here we have in the studio students of Silver Hills Higher Secondary School who would like to delve into his great and vast experience and knowledge about Indian nationalism, the role of Gandhiji, his relevance in today's Indian context, and so on and so forth. Thank you, and over to Mr. Aflatoon. Namaskar.
My name is Aparna Jagath. We all are from class 9. So my question here today is that you come from a legacy deeply tied to Gandhiji. So has your family background influenced your political and ideological outlook?
My grandfather was from Odisha. My maternal grandmother was from Bengal, whom she mentioned. She was member of the Constituent Assembly, but apart from that, she had many activities. Even after making of our constitution, she was very active amongst Dalits and Adivasis of Odisha. I will begin with a small story. My grandmother, when I say grandmother, mostly it would be maternal. I have not seen my paternal grandmother or grandfather. Grandfather, Mahadev Desai, he died in prison as a prisoner in 1942. 9th of August, you might be knowing that 8th of August evening, Gandhiji gave the call of quit India, do or die. On 9th morning, they were arrested. My grandfather was also arrested, and they were taken from Bombay to Pune. At Aga Khan Palace was turned into a prison, and they were kept there, and only after 7-8 days, on 15th of August 1942, he died, along with Gandhi, as a prisoner. So, the long gap, I was born in 1959, so I have not seen him. And my elder sister was about 11 years older to me. She also did not see him. My father and mother, they got married in 47 perhaps. So Gandhiji was alive, but all my siblings, none of us have seen Mahadev Desai. Okay. So I would address family wala. So before that, I wanted to tell a small story. My grandmother, maternal grandmother, she started a school along with hostel, which was in the beginning, before independence. In the beginning, it was for those children of those activists who were either in jail or were active, and their children were kept in those hostels. Later on, it was decided that that hostel and school, they were not running. The school was the government school in the nearby village, but hostel was there, and it was what madam and father must be knowing, basic education, the idea of basic education of Gandhiji. which gave importance to both buddhi and shram. You know these two words? Shram and buddhi, you understand. So that was uh, their life in the hostel, doing their gardening and farming and weaving, carpentry work, all those things were along with the hostel. In classes, they went to the village school. That school was named after a very young martyr. He died. I will tell you the story, it's a very small story. There were princely states also when England used to rule us. So, one of such state was Dhenkanal. Uh, so, there were some differences. Those kings could also be very tyrant kind of people, and they had very good relation with Britishers. So there was a boy. This is Baji Raut, and he was a boatman, or fisherman family. Okay, so he was on a boat, and the British army came and they wanted to cross a river. And he knew that if they reach my village after crossing the river, they would be doing a lot of nuisance thing, maybe lot of things. So he could imagine about that. And they requested the British police and army people, they asked because they were on the boat to help them cross the river. So he refused. That's the main thing, the refusal. So then they shot him and he died. Baji Raut was his name. You can search on the net also. Now you would get some information. So that hostel was named after Baji Raut, who was a young 11-year-old martyr. So my grandmother, she gave this name. And it was established in the late 30s only, 1930s, okay? So, and you perhaps asked what was the effect of the family, this thing. Maybe it must have been that some effect was there, but when I was in the university, nobody knew that I was grandson of, from both sides of Nabu Krishna Chaudhary, who was my maternal grandfather. He was, for almost 7 years, he was a chief minister of Odisha. The first election which took place after independence, he was elected. And the second election also. Then he himself left this mainstream politics and joined Vinoba. Have you heard, any of you heard of Vinoba Bhave? Not the teachers, I am asking the students. Have you heard? No. Yeah. So Vinoba was also a follower of Gandhi, and if I have to introduce him, when Gandhi started in individual satyagraha, so he was the person who selected that who would go for individual satyagraha. War was going on, and the individual satyagrahi had to oppose the war, give a speech. There was a curb on free speech uh, those days. So Gandhi decided who would go for, and he was the number one person. Jawaharlal Nehru was number 3 or number 4. But Gandhi selected him as first individual satyagrahi. Okay, so Navakrishna Chaudhary, there was no dissent in his this thing. Twice he had won, Within the party, he did not face any dissent. Of course, he had some differences with Jawaharlal ji, and then he left the active mainstream politics and joined Vinoba, who uh, uh, who had started a very uh, important campaign which is known as Bhudan. So that maybe if you don't know, you can easily find out about that. It was a very novel kind of thing. He asked for land because there is in our agricultural rural area, this land problem is there. Most of the people who are engaged in agriculture, they do not have any land, and a few have a lot of land. So he asked to the big farmers to donate land voluntarily. That was Bhudan. Dan you might be knowing. So Bhudan. So Navkrishna Chaudhary, he joined the Bhudan movement, suddenly leaving the chief minister's post and leaving the active politics of Congress. Earlier, he was in Congress Socialist Party, which was a part of Congress, the mainstream Congress also. And of course, for some time, some communists were also part of Congress Socialist Party, but after a very short while, they left. Nambudiri Pad was also there in the Congress Socialist Party, but mostly other socialist leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan, Lohia, Acharya Narendra Dev, these were the persons, and this is, I think, the 90th year of formation of Congress Socialist Party. And Navkrishna Chaudhary was also one of the founding members. He was one of the 4 secretaries of Congress Socialist Party. So, but he decided to be with Nehru. After independence, this Congress Socialist Party, they left Congress and made a separate independent socialist party after independence, immediately after independence. So, but Navkrishna Chaudhary did not join Socialist Party. Later on, he had much sympathy, but I need not go into detail of that. So, when I was in the university, nobody knew that who my grandparents were, and so. But I was active amongst the students. So, of course, it has got. When I come to Kerala, everybody introduces me with this Navkrishna Chaudhary, Malti Devi, and Mahadev Bhai also, Mahadev Desai. So, I think that their activities, their life was, and their heritage, everyone has the right to be proud about that, not only me. Okay, but it's nothing different. Their heritage, everyone should know about it. One can question about it, and one can admire it. So, there is nothing special because I was born in that family. That's what I think.
My name is Deva Chaithra. What are the challenges hindering the effective implementation of the national education policy, and how can we overcome those?
So please don't mind. NEP 2020, all instructions and everything, they have sent it to all private and government schools. And we have strong objection to that. Maybe I think that father must be also having all these things, because in our country, whenever this education thing policy is made, earlier they used to have discussions in schools, in panchayats, but this time no discussion. Not even the assemblies were discussed, the thing was put before state assemblies, not even parliament, and now it has been imposed. So this is for the first time. And if you go deeper, in late 60s we had Kothari Commission, which was a commission on education, and it recommended common school system, common schools or neighborhood schools. If the Silver Hill School, those students who are, those children who are living in a vicinity of say 2-3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, they may be children of any background. So they would have to go to this school. So this was the concept of neighborhood school. And of course that there are many kind of schools now. Okay, public schools, central schools, Navodaya, and government primary schools. So we believe that it should be uniform. And I think if you do not follow, I am telling you about a slogan. It is in Hindi. If you do not follow, you please ask. राष्ट्रपति का बेटा हो या चपरासी की हो संतान, सबकी शिक्षा एक समान. Do you follow? You did not follow. Acha, you could follow. So this is for a uniform school system, free for everyone. In a democracy, it should be like that. And some experts, they have given concrete example that if you increase a bit the budget, then you can have facilities which are equal to facilities of a Kendriya Vidyalaya, because teacher to students ratio in Kendriya Vidyalaya is much less better or healthier than other primary schools in any state. So that much should be there, and that level should be there in all schools of India, and the schooling or school education should be of one kind. That's one of the things. And this NEP 2020, we think it's against socially backward people, downtrodden people and minorities. And the main objection is it's being imposed. It's not coming from below. So you were asking about that. I think you had a positive notion about NEP 2022, but sorry, we are working against it. We are acting. After I go from Kerala, I have to go to a conference, All India Conference of an association, All India Forum for Right to Education. It is being held in Jalandhar. So after I go from Kerala, I have to attend that. And we are against that NEP 2020. The courses they change. I can tell you some positive things which were there in NCERT courses. There was a very good chapter on cooperation, cooperative movement. So it was about something which our friends were working in Madhya Pradesh, in an Adivasi area. They were displaced by many big projects, Tawa Dam, Ordnance Factory, and the bombs which were made in Ordnance Factory, those were tested in proof range. So many villages were displaced from 60s onward. Okay, so one NCERT book carried an article about this, that they got strengthened, so they are changing now. That was made, and Yogendra Yadav, some of you might have heard his name. So he was in that committee we formed those good textbooks. So now they are changing. They may remove many things which are important, but if it's not compatible with their narrow ideology, they can remove it. And this is happening. And everything is being imposed from the above. Even if the school is private, the NEP documents or notification, they are continuously they are pouring it that you have to do this and report us. And in the government schools also they are sending this. So that is very dangerous. It should come from below. They should consult teachers at the ground level. So that's why the NEP question is very tricky. Frankly, I should say that we are against it, the NEP 2020.
I'm Mehna. So, what do you think are the underlying reasons for India's significant brain drain, and what potential solution can we explore to address this issue?
Nowadays, you must have heard or must have read in the newspapers about that HB, this thing visa, and the fees. President Trump has increased it to some 48 lakhs, 84 lakhs rupees per year. Later they cleared it that it's not for all time. So why do they go there? Of course, I should confess my wife did her PhD in America, but she decided that I have to come back and serve in India. So she came back and she joined Banaras Hindu University. She was a physics professor. But mostly those who go abroad, they prefer to settle there. So they are helping those economies, whatever work they do. If they are scientists, after she finished her PhD, she was offered a job in Westinghouse, which was a big multinational in the energy sector and very big multinational. So she got a job also. But since she thought that I have to come back to India, but this is not the case with most of the people. And our policy also now, many of them, they have political inclination also. Somebody is supporting BJP there, and you might have noticed or read that they had a very big rally during Donald Trump's election, welcoming Donald Trump, and Modi was invited. Prime Minister Modi was invited there, and he said, "Ab ki baar Trump sarkar." You understand? That we should have Trump again. This was what Modi said. And still he claims that we are very good friends. And you know that they have imposed a very strong tariff regime. Okay. So, but still he says that he clearly he cannot take a stand. So that way he's not he at least he projected the image that he's very strong. But now the Trump, this thing, they have imposed all these things which is against those NRIs. So maybe many of them would come back if it's the same, this thing, if it remains. I think it would remain because this was one of Trump's election issue also. So about this brain drain, basic thing is when they study, they mostly engineers, doctors, they go abroad and they settle there. Okay, but while studying, common people, it's public exchequer through which the education is provided. If you want to become a doctor, the whole expenditure is not from students' fees. The government gives aid from the central budget or the state budget. Education is both a state subject and a union subject. So, for becoming an engineer, for one who becomes a doctor, a lot of public money is spent for, but after getting the degree, if they go and settle there, that's the brain drain. So, but we never took it that way. We thought that it's very good. They would be, and especially the state of Kerala, it has got many people, and not only doctor engineers, maybe plumbers and other. They go to the Gulf, you know that, and send the wages are much better than India. They send money also. That way, that is helpful to our economy also. But I see in Kerala, I have been here since 92, 93. I come off and on. So I observe that there are very big houses, individuals' houses, in villages also. Gold का बहुत सारा, gold and jewelry, this thing has also increased because the money is coming. Okay, but we should also observe. Yesterday morning I was going for a morning walk in Vadagara, and there was a big row, a line, people were coming, and all of them were Bengalis. They were going, they had backpack behind this thing, and they feel that this is a safe state. That's one more thing which I would like to associate with this thing. In other states, there may be a feeling and action against the immigrants. But in Kerala, it is safe. So we have our work in North Bengal. So we know that many people are coming from those villages to Kerala. And I heard, for the first time yesterday, I heard that even to bring down coconut, the Bengalis are climbing the trees. And so this should not be there. Kerala is more developed, but we should, if we think that there should be equal development, so decentralization should be there, and also you know that India was a colony of British. Similarly, we think that there are many internal colonies. The type of development we have adopted, the mode of development, these big roads and centralized big industries, all these things. Even if you are not economically, we are not, even if we are not growing, we are taking loan from World Bank, from WTO, from IMF, in order to make those big highways and all those things. Then the decentralized development is not there. And we think that some regions of our country, our own country, they are made internal colonies. And that can be, if you are not following, please object. So that can be several geographical regions, and you must have heard about Jharkhand, about Chhattisgarh, okay, about some parts of Orissa. They are very much backward in many ways. And we think that those, and they are very uh, rich in natural resources, that like those ores, bauxite, iron ore, all these things you would get in those areas only where the forest is there, where Adivasis are there, okay? And so when I was a student and we went to college, so in the Indian economy books, the first chapter and the first thing they addressed was that India is a rich country inhabited by poor people. This was a question, and then they used to explain it. So similarly, in India there are many such areas which those areas are being exploited, and that's why uh, people migrate to places where there is more finance, more capital, so that they get more wages than their own area. Why should otherwise they leave their village? There are some push factors and pull factors. Okay, so they are being pushed, and they come to when this during the COVID period. I would tell you, we work in eastern UP. I live in Varanasi, which is part of eastern UP. So we had some units in some villages also. In one such village, only a single village, COVID, the workers had to return because the factories and everything got closed down. In one such village, uh, people who were originally from that village, they came back. They came back from Chennai. They came back from Bombay, from Ahmedabad, from Gurgaon, which is in Haryana, Faridabad, which is again in Haryana. They came from all these places. And because of COVID, they had to be kept aloof, they were quarantined. So quarantine was practiced. So, but we knew that these many people were from a single village and they were working in all those places. So the ideal thing would have been that they get the opportunities in their own villages. Okay, so on that regard, Gandhi is very much relevant.
My name is Jyothi Krishnan Unni. I'm an English teacher. I would like to know, sir, how relevant is production by the masses as compared to mass production? How relevant is that in an economy like India, especially in the handloom sector?
I will give you a small example. So, what is the number one employment in India? What is the sector? Agriculture. ठीक है? अच्छा. What is the second? Can you guess? It's handloom. Number two is handloom, preparing the cloth, the hand weaving cloth. Of course, the policy has changed, and now mostly handloom is closed down and power loom is coming. Earlier, there was a rule or law under the textile policy. You will understand this thing, it's not much complicated, that only plain cloth can be made in power loom. This texture kind of thing, or there was a machine in England, jacquard. So in our area, they call it, the word has changed, it has broken, they call it jacquard. But the English word is jacquard. So jacquard, in the jacquard machine, designs or patterns could be made from the cloth. So that was not allowed in power loom. Means it could be made only in handloom. Understand? And and this was the number 2 employment sector. So, but when such policies are changed, unemployment also increases. If you allow pattern cloth in power loom, then the handloom people will get unemployed. I will give you one example. You know that Banaras is famous for Banarsi sarees. You know that? Huh? Everyone knows that. Okay. So now, earlier, all Banarsi sarees were made on handloom. Okay. So, one good Banarsi sari, it took at least 9 to 10 days, 15 days to make on a handloom. Now, the pattern, now it can be made on power loom also. So, if a person like you or me, if we are shown a sari made in handloom and a sari made on power loom, we cannot distinguish. But the difference is you can make 3 same pattern sari, Banarsi sari, on power loom in one day. And it took 10 days, 15 days for making one sari. So that is the difference. So you can guess how much this thing it will be. So the whole handloom sector has, it has been affected by this policy. And some things that cannot be, if the technology is like that, if it's not possible on power loom, then they are safe. Like Sambalpuri, madam must be knowing that some Odisha handloom. This is Sambalpuri pattern, this thing. This, it's a very simple this thing. The border you can see. So this is Odisha handloom. So, and there are tie and dye, that's not the Rajasthani or Gujarat kind of tie and dye, but thread is dyed at different places, and when you weave, a pattern comes out. Very beautiful sarees are there, Sambalpuri sarees. So in that, power loom has not come. So they are safe. It can, such sarees can be printed also. That would not be so beautiful. If it's woven, it's much more beautiful. So this example I gave on in the textiles sector. There was one law, and you can easily know about it. You can search in the internet. 1977, they reserved about say 1300 items, that these items would be made in small scale and cottage industry only. It cannot be, those goods cannot be made by large industries. So this was reserved. In order to protect the small scale industry, this law was made in parliament. But slowly, those 1200 items, they started removing things from. There were many reasons. One of them was the World Trade Organization's treaty, the international treaty, in that we had that those foreign multinational companies, they said that you cannot discriminate between the Indian companies there. So we have agreed to this. So it's called most favored nation. So this condition. So we have already signed on that. So you cannot discriminate between an Indian industrialist or capitalist and multinational company. So and then you cannot discriminate. So you will have to this kind of reservation which I told you to protect the small scale. So several governments, different party governments, they came to union, central governments, and they started removing things from that list. And very sadly, I should confess that in 2014, after only some 12 or 20 items were left. I, I would like to enumerate those. Papad, you know? Huh? Pickles, achar, matchstick, candle, iron shutters, which we use to shut the shops down. So those iron shutters, all these things, register, the stationery, okay, furniture, all these things were left. The last, say, 20 things which were there in that reserved category, so that those should be protected. And in 2014, when this government came, now it has become zero. The protected list is zero. So they didn't change the law, but they reduced the annexure, which got the list to zero. So the law is not at all relevant now. It has virtually become infructuous. Law or no law, there is no protection. So similarly, there was a policy how the government buys those things, and it was preferred that small scale industry thing. Suppose that the Cochin district administration wants some furnitures. So they were asked that first preference should be given for the furnitures made in Cochin, maybe by some unemployed youth who starts making register. So that should be. Now there are registers and stationery of multinational. ITC, you must be having notebooks and copies, ITC copies, classmate, that's made by ITC, which is a huge multinational. Okay, so now those small opportunities, they are not protected. So they have died. Those small scale industries have closed down. So that I wanted to tell you about the unemployment and employment.
I'm M Antony, social science teacher of Silver Hills Higher Secondary School. Sir, do you think that the mining sector of India, especially the mineral mining sector, affect the livelihood of tribals and their ecosystem?
Some things I would like to mention, which I think at school level also you know very well, Mane, you know about it. Now, if you go to, say, Department of Geology or maybe Geography in any university, so they would be able to tell you how much petrol is there left in our planet. So that has been guessed. There is a very good estimate about that these many years. How much coal is left, that can also be estimated, and they know about it. Similarly, all ores, bauxite, aluminium is made by, bauxite is used to make aluminium, which is the lightest metal, one of the lightest metals. So, being lightest metal, aluminium is used to make aeroplanes, to make missiles. So, very important metal it is. But again, as I said in the beginning, all metals, all these mines are there in the forest area. And who lives there? Adivasis lives there, where the Mool Nivasis, or the people who lived, inhabited India through ages. Mostly all of us have come from outside. Our ancestors, they have come from outside. The Adivasis were the real people who lived here, and their areas are the areas where mining is being done. So they have to struggle for their existence. I can tell you many stories about it. I will not go into them. Uh, but one I will tell you about Niyamgiri. You can, if you remember, or you have not brought notebook or paper, so uh, if you remember, Niyamgiri you write and search for it. So very beautiful mountain. It's a set of three mountains, three, four mountains, and those mountains are full of bauxite. So, and at the foot of the hill, there is a refinery to make aluminum out of that bauxite. So that's in uh, southwest Orissa, Niyamgiri. Two districts are there where this thing. So there was a very good law that in tribal areas, if you want to start some project, you have to take the opinion of the villagers, of the village council. So we went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court asked the Cuttack High Court, mind you, not the district administration. The Supreme Court asked the Cuttack High Court to conduct a referendum in their supervision. And all the village council members, they had to vote whether you want mining or do not want mining. And this was a company, Vedant. Vedant, if you it seems that it sounds like some Hindi name or Sanskrit name, Vedant. But it's a company registered in United Kingdom, in London. Okay. And of course the owner, he is again an NRI, Anil Agrawal. So his company was this Vedant, and he was allowed to mine from the Niyamgiri hills and give it to the refinery is in at the foot of the hill, Lanjigarh. So this referendum took place. Not a single vote was given in favor of mining. All the major mainstream political parties, they were in support of the company, of the Vedanta company. But still, since we were working at the grassroots level, not a single vote was cast in favor of the multinational company. So Supreme Court decided that there should be no mining here. So now they, again, almost all parties are pro such kind of economic policies, most of them. No, not much difference. I can give you example of Kerala also. If Adani is there, the LDF government, they allowed to build a port with Adani's help, and most of the money is coming from the state government. But the port will be Gautam Adani's port. That we saw in Varanasi, there was a photograph with Prime Minister, Chief Minister of Kerala and Gautam Adani on a same stage. They may say that we are against each other or something, but all of them were there on the same stage. Okay, so it's not much different. Is there any state? In Odisha, Naveen Patnaik was the chief minister for the longest time in the whole of our country. The longest period a person has been a chief minister is Naveen Patnaik. So he was of this, he adopted this policy. It was not much different from other policies, governments. So now they are trying to allow mining in some nearby hills. So there also the Adivasi has to struggle for their existence. Very beautiful forest is there. I have been there. So when you go to those villages, you will find signboards that please be cautious, elephants may cross. So there are elephants also there. So you, while driving, you should be conscious. So these boards are there, and very dense forest. And wherever there are villages, there are very their agriculture is also very important, very unusual things, but important nutritively and otherwise. So those things, but it would finish if the whole area we are. So one point I will make and stop this mining this thing. Aluminium, I will take this example. Aluminium is used in making aeroplanes. Aluminium is used in making missiles. Mostly it would be very destructive use. The missiles which carry bombs. So if 90% of aluminium is used for aeroplanes and missiles, then we should prefer, give importance to lives of the people, of human being, rather than going to, that's what our logic is. Okay, so these kinds of debate goes on, and we think that Gandhi becomes relevant in that.
I'm Naumi Parvathi. So, what are your biggest hope and your biggest fear for the present India?
We have to think about an alternative, and we think that that alternative comes from Gandhi's ideas or his ideology. So that's why the hope is there, and people from Adivasi areas, they are the hope, their struggle is the hope, and we think that.
Sir, can you cite an example of Gandhiji building a wall at the border without the help of an army in the context of today's geopolitics?
Give you one example and stop. Day before yesterday, the 2nd of October, you know, there was a fleet of small ships. They started from Spain. And where were they going? They were going to Gaza. They carried ration and food grains and medicines, because that area has been occupied by Israel and children are dying there. Okay, and United States of America, it fully supports both the major parties. They support Israel because most of the multinationals and those corporations, they have connection with Israel. So this fleet, which carried activists from 40 countries, they were intercepted just before Gaza. Or all of you must have heard about this girl, Greta Thunberg. You have heard, all of you? She was also on the ship. She was beaten, and she was the most prominent figure among those people who were coming. So she was insulted in front of all others, so that they get afraid that this might happen to us also. And I am hesitating in telling you, they forcibly asked that you have to kiss the Israeli flag. So all these things happened, but they could not reach Gaza with the relief. But we are discussing about it. That's the success of that campaign. Worldwide, people know that such thing happened. So we think that this was a Gandhian experiment against a very strong, very tyrant kind of army. And these people were not carrying any arms. Okay, no pistols, nothing. They were carrying humanitarian aid. So, and they were moving against a very strong army. So when Gandhiji was asked whenever that would there be an army in your ideal this thing? So he, and such questions he used to give reply that if an army attacks your country, what would you do? So he used to say that we will make a wall at the border of people. So I think that this campaign was very much Gandhian thing in essence. So that's one distinct Gandhi's relevance is there, and fear.
I'm Nathaniel. As time passes, the society tends to change. Do you think Gandhi's ideas still hold practical relevance in India's current political landscape?
Totally false. And you can easily, Gandhi's collected works, whatever he has spoken, whatever he has written, that has been published by Government of India in more than 100 volumes. In any university you will find it. Thick volumes, big thick volumes, more than 100. No literature person has written that much. And of course, this is collected. The Government of India asked, he used to give replies to hundreds of letters every day. He, of course, he rejected many, but he gave reply to many things. Many times his secretary used to write and he used to sign and such things. So that's why the 100 volumes are there. So one thing I am telling you, if at all you are interested in studying Gandhi afterwards also, he gives a note of caution in many of his original books originally written by Gandhi, not edited ones. He writes a note to the readers. He says that you can find many discrepancies, क्या कहेंगे उसको, contradictions in my thing, my thought, my writings. You may have many contradictions, but don't think much about it. You close your eyes and accept the stand which I have taken later on.
Hello sir, my name is Sunitha, I'm a school counselor. So my question is, how did Gandhiji try to do away with caste system in India?
I will give you one example. Till 1920, he used to say that there should be no inter-caste marriage. Means the caste should remain. But after he had discussion with Dr. Ambedkar in 1930 in Pune, so after that he changed. And the final thing, in the late 40s, he decided that he will attend only those marriages which are intercaste. One side should be upper caste, the other side should be Dalit. So my father was son of his secretary, and when my mother and father's marriage, Gandhiji was alive. So he clearly said that I have decided upon this, and since you are like a member of my family, I have to follow more strictly in your case. So I have Ashirwad I give to you because you have married in different state. That is also very important. But I will not give you distinction mark. Nowadays, students will not. Distinction is more than 75%. I will just give you passing marks. And definitely I would not attend. So he did come. His letter, of course, came with a postcard with some ashirwad that I bless you, etc. So this was the change after this Gandhi Ambedkar dialogue. So this is an example that his stand, if you take a quotation from 1920, you will find that he is against intercaste marriage. But then he took this stand. So he says that please whisper, don't give any this thing importance to such contradictions. You blindly follow the thing. So this rule you should also follow in any matter while studying Gandhi. We should keep this in mind, that what was the later stand taken later. Okay, so that I would like to, that was the last point I want to make. And many contradictions and rumors which are made about Gandhi, they can, you can easily find them out, and that whether they are true or false. Many things are there. I am not going to raise those things because I think you can always, if there is something which you think that one should know and get deeper into it, so you can, there are many sources, the whole collected works is there on the internet. Of course, a government tried to change it too. The BJP government tried to change Gandhiji's collected works. They removed many items, some 500 items they removed. So then the parliament said that this is very serious thing. So a committee was made to inquire about this, and they recommended that the old edition which was not edited, that should be again published, and all these edited versions should be taken back. So that was done.
My name is Arundhati. My question is, what are the reasons behind the limited number of universities in India?
Ideal thing we think today, there are many kind of this thing, education or schools providing education, but we think that it should be completely free from KG to PG, kindergarten to postgraduate. This thing, it should be free. Whoever wants to study, he should have that opportunity, and it should be free. So that's one thing.
My name is Anwitha. My question is, what are your thoughts on the concept of banishing Gandhi, and how do you perceive the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi's ideals and legacy in contemporary India?
This disappearing Gandhi thing, we should be conscious about this. That's a fact, that the mainstream politics, we usually do not have this kind of discussion. And there are many things which are falsely propagated against Gandhi. Many things. So I have taken much of your time. Yeah. Thank you so much.